I wonder if you could comment a bit about subscription services and how that impacts kind of the user experience. And then you guys on the developer side, we have tiered systems like the recently announced changes to PlayStation Plus. You also have Xbox Game Pass and the ability for developers to launch into there at various sizes of games.
Hmm.
Uh, could you comment a bit on how those subscription services uh, are viewed in your eyes as someone who's kind of been there, cutting the deals, jumping systems at various times to make sure the things get done?
Well, um, it's it's kind of a double edged sword. Uh, Let me give you an example. I'll give you an example. And it's around Soulstorm. Is we out of necessity to get the project done, and we were hitting a number of technical debt, legacy issues, and talent issues, and game industry is emerging fast. Huge companies are paying fortunes. We're just independent, self-finance. It's harder to retain, harder to contract companies. A lot of shifting things in the landscape. Shifting sands, and the Sony was like, "Hey, why don't we do a deal?" And I think we were making a PS5, look kind of cool, and they were like, "Why don't we do a deal?" And the way we were working out the intention of a deal was that we would be free for a month on Plus, uh, but we were supposed to deliver in January. So at that time, there wasn't going to be any game machines. I mean, we were like, how many could we possibly sell? No one ever penetrates more than like 10%, 11% on a new launch. Even the most successful titles, you think like, oh, everyone bought this title for that new machine, but then you find out, man, 20% is enormous if someone got that on a new launch for
Right.
a single title. And uh, and then COVID just completely, uh, you know, kicked us in the gut because we were distributed development across the planet. Now every studio that we're working with is going into lockdown. So now we had, a number of studios in the mix, and now all of a sudden they're all locked down and everyone's working from home, and no one can hand a controller next to them to the other person. That's how you build games, right? So I never would have said, if we said, "Oh, COVID's going to lock down, you're just going to have to deliver the game," with no one working together. It was like, we can't do that. I never would have said we can do that, but it was forced upon us, and we had to, figure out how to prevail. But that's a long way of saying we needed the money to complete the project, and we thought we did a pretty good deal because we were like, well, we got this much money, and in January we could. There's no way we'll sell more than this. And that's less than the most we could sell is less than the money we could get. So that seems like good. Let's do the deal. So we did the deal. Now, at no fault to Sony's, just and then COVID happened, right? This delayed us from January to April. The deal is still for one free month. What we thought was that we might maybe sell like 50,000 units at launch, or maybe 100,000. It was pretty small numbers because there wasn't going to be a lot of PS5s, and the lockdown had affected. It looked like it was going to affect the number of machines manufactured as well. So there would be shortages at retail, which for our deal would be, kind of a good thing, right? Looking at it selfishly, it would be kind of good because then there wouldn't be as many game machines out there to get the free game.
Hmm.
But because it slipped to April, uh, we had the highest downloaded game on PS5, and it was, I think, approaching uh, at the end of the day close to 4 million units or something like that for free because they were all subscription. So
And
this was the free game for that month to subscribers. So for
right.
us, it was devastating. And so that's how kind of the economies would work. Before you had free months, you might make a deal on a certain number of units at a certain price. You might have,
Hmm.
there's different ways to do it, but
Right.
that's how slipping can really sting the developer, right? No one did a dirty deed. There's no one played unfair pool. This
Right.
is just, Earth in 2020 and 2021. And
It's
so,
it's
Yeah,
wild to think that getting 4 million versus 100, couple 100,000, you'd think it's a good thing, right?
not when they're free.
But not when they're free. Interesting.